everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to give you guys a little update on my health. It's been about 4 months since my last health update. If you guys are new here, my name is Hannah and I do videos on makeup and essential oils and a bunch of random things, but one thing I like to do is about once a month I do a video related to my health. I have been suffering from chronic fatigue syndrome for about 3.5 years now, and it's been a really long journey, and I will link above some videos on chronic fatigue syndrome that I have made in the past. That way you guys can check it out and get more information on the condition if you do not know about it, or if you guys just want to learn more. Before we get started on today's video, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and give this video a big thumbs up, and if you guys would like to hear how I'm doing, then just keep on watching. Okay, so like I said in the intro, it's been about 4 months since my last health update, and I have made a little bit of progress since then. I wouldn't say it's been like a ton of progress, but it's been enough to notice, so that is really exciting. I'm trying to think of where I should start. I think the last thing I mentioned when it comes to an update on my health was I'm starting to gain a little bit more quality of life, and I am building up to more and more things each week and each day, and honestly every day is just so up and down. I can't even wrap my head around it sometimes, because sometimes I'll have a day where it's like yeah, I can do this thing, but I have to make sure I have to rest in between each and every activity. And then I have some days that I'm just so sick I can hardly get out of bed. And it's so frustrating because no matter what, every single day, 24/7, I feel my symptoms. They don't ever go away. I don't remember the last time I was symptom free. It was probably, I mean, what happened with me, like a virus triggered this condition. But even prior to getting the virus that triggered all of this, I always had some health issues going on and underlying problems, constant migraines, a lot of stomach issues, and so on and so forth. So it's really frustrating because I don't remember really the last time that I felt normal. And before CFS, I was obviously functioning. I was working, I was going to school, hanging out with friends, just living a very normal life. But once the virus hit, everything went downhill. And that was probably around the last time I was at a functioning level, at a normal functioning level, I guess you can say. So, like I said, every single day I feel the symptoms, and some days are worse than others. And what's so frustrating is that I'm starting to hang out with friends a little bit more as time goes on, but it is so frustrating because I can't really do activities that involve a ton of moving. So when I am hanging out with friends, they're just really low-key type things, like going to a coffee shop or going to get food. As long as I'm sitting, I can handle hanging out with friends, but it's only about an hour or two at the most. Sometimes I can hang out a little longer, but once like the 2-hour mark hits, my brain starts going in a completely different direction, and my brain fog gets really bad, and my vision starts getting really blurry, my throat gets really dry, and I start getting really winded when I'm talking. So I'm really grateful that I'm starting to be able to hang out with friends again and slowly get some of my social life back, but at the same time it is so frustrating because I constantly have to revolve my hanging out around my health. And I have days where, yeah, I can get up and go get coffee with a friend. I can, go get food or whatever. But then I'll have a day where, I did too much the day before, so I'm feeling too sick to even leave the house. And sometimes I'm in that bed like all day. One day I can be well enough to go do a small activity with a friend as long as I'm sitting. And then the next day I can be so sick that it's so hard to leave the house. With that being said, I have made a lot of progress in those areas. I've already explained my social situation with my friends, and that's exciting. I'm really looking forward to seeing myself progress in those areas, because chronic fatigue syndrome is probably one of the most isolating conditions out there. I have spent more time in this house than I have in probably since I was like a kid, I'd say about 85% of my life is living in this house, and most of my social life is through the phone. And that can get really lonely and really isolating, and you kind of start to feel like you're going crazy, especially when you're living life through your phone and social media, and that's kind of like how you keep up to date with everything, what everyone's doing and what's going on. And it's just really frustrating because when I do see friends now, I kind of feel like an alien a little bit because I've been so like secluded from the outside world for so long. I mean, I get out, I go on drives with my friends, and my boyfriend will take me on a drive, my mom will take me on a drive and stuff, and you know, I'm able to do these small things like go get coffee and go eat food, things like that. But at the same time, I just feel so like I'm in such a different place now than I was 4 years ago when I was living life and working and doing normal things. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this. My brain just kind of glitched a little, but I just feel like, I don't know, it's just, things are so different now, and my friends and people in my life are in a different place than they were years ago. I mean, I am too, but it's in a different, I guess it's like it's a different situation because mine's health related. So I guess what I'm trying to say is when I am hanging out with friends and stuff, sometimes I find it hard to talk about what's going on in my life because I don't really know what to say. I mean, I have this condition and I'm home a lot, and every single day is revolved around my symptoms and how I feel, and it's just trying to get through each day, one day at a time, 1 minute at a time, and it can just be really, really frustrating. With that being said, a lot of other little things have been happening. I've been slowly starting to drive, and that has been really difficult. I started off with driving from my boyfriend's parents' house to my house because at nighttime, and I don't remember if in my last video I did with my health update if I was starting to do the driving a little bit here and there, but the last couple months I would start doing that drive from my boyfriend's parents' house to my house. And it's basically just like a straight shot down one street, and then you take one more like left and then a right, and then you're at my house. So it's not too difficult. And the only time I could do it was at nighttime because there was hardly any cars out. So my brain wouldn't have to multitask too much. So after doing that a few times and trying to get used to it, it got easier and easier. So I thought, okay, now it's time for me to try driving in the daytime. So I started off by driving with my mom a little bit because I just feel more safe and more comfortable if someone's with me right now because of my fatigue and disorientation and just the way I feel. And driving in the daytime is really hard for me, but I am trying. And I started off by driving like a 5-minute drive from like one point to another, and that's all I could do. I start to get really, really tired and my brain fog flares up really bad, but I kept practicing and eventually got a tiny, tiny bit easier. So I kind of took a step back with that because I was getting really nervous driving because I just didn't trust how my brain function was and how bad my fatigue has been. But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I was at home with my mom and I said, you know what, screw it. I need to try to build up more often and get brave and try doing this again so I can gain this part of my life back. So I was at home with my mom and I was like, Mom, I'm gonna take your keys and take your car and drive to Starbucks just to get a drink and then come back. There's a Starbucks that's like literally 4 minutes from my house, so I figured, okay, this is a good opportunity to just build up slowly. It's just, I know how to get there and it's gonna be okay. So I drove to Starbucks and went through the drive-thru, got my drink and went home, and I did great. I had to rest after, but it didn't knock me completely down and it didn't send me into a full-blown crash where I'm in bed all day. And so for the last few weeks, I've been really, really trying to continue building up with my driving. So I'm really excited about that. I feel more comfortable if I have someone in the car with me, like my mom or my boyfriend. But when I'm by myself, if I do try to drive by myself, it's only like a 5-minute distance and then I have to come home and rest. I can't like drive to my destination and then like do a bunch of stuff because it just makes it really difficult and my symptoms start to flare up. And it's really interesting because everything with my recovery with chronic fatigue syndrome has been like this. It's like you start off at like the smallest little amount and then you just build up over time and it gets bigger and bigger. So it's kind of like how it was with my walking. A lot of you guys know, and from people who have been following me and watching my videos and people who know me, I started off with a 30-second walk, and that's all I can do without getting exhausted, and that was about 2.5 years ago. Actually, no, it was like two years and like 3 months ago. So that was really, really like, I don't know, kind of depressing because I couldn't believe that I can only walk 30 seconds without getting tired. And it's taken me all this time to finally get to 1.5 miles. So as of recently, and I'm talking like intentional walking, not walking throughout the whole day, but like, you know, you take your dog for a walk, like that kind of a walk. So as of recently, I'm at 1.5 miles of walking. It usually takes about 25 to 30 minutes depending on how fast I'm able to walk that day. Like I said, every single day with CFS is so different. Some days I can't even do my walk. If I know that I am going to the store with my mom or something, or, you know, running a little errand with my boyfriend, I count that as my walk, if that makes any sense. So instead of doing my walk that I do for my CFS recovery, I'll replace it with going to Target or something if I need to go run an errand with my boyfriend. So it's kind of frustrating that I have to do that, and I'm not trying to be negative in any way, but sometimes it's just like, man, like, is this really happening? You know, it's just, I've gotten so used to feeling this way that I've gotten really good at figuring out how to balance out my fatigue and my energy levels, or like lack of energy. And it's just, I don't know, it's hard. It's really, really, really hard. But I am really excited about the progress I have made. I look at where I was at this time last year, and I had recently just gotten out of a crash, like a really bad crash. I've just realized with chronic fatigue syndrome and recovery, it's a bunch of like little things that add up to help you recover. So it's not just like one thing, like taking your walks is going to make you recover. It's working on yourself, body, mind, and spirit. And that's what I've really had to realize. I've had to learn when to say no. I've had to learn not to feel guilty for saying no, because no matter what happens, my health is going to come first, and that is not selfish in any way. If you are feeling guilty about saying no to people because of how you're feeling, try not to feel guilty. I know it's so hard because I feel it all the time, but when it comes down to it, your health is so important. Like, after going through this, I've really, really learned how important your health is, and it just really puts everything in perspective. And you know, the things that used to make you upset or things that used to bother you just don't bother you anymore, because you know, without your health, you can't live a normal life, and it's so hard. So what I'm trying to say is that don't feel guilty if you're having to say no, because I feel guilty all the time, and I don't want you guys to feel that way, because it's really hard to get yourself in that mindset of not feeling bad and not always being a people pleaser and having to say yes to everyone and everything. And you know, this is your life you're talking about. This isn't just, you know, you being lazy or, you know, feeling like, you know, you just don't want to do anything. It's putting your health first and knowing that it is 100% okay to say no if you are not feeling good. So another few things that I've been doing is once in a while I will go to a movie with my boyfriend or just a small group of friends, and that has been really great. I haven't done it that often, but the couple times that I have done it, it's been really good. And you know, I'm finding that it has to be with people that I know are calm and that will somewhat understand what I'm going through. That makes such a difference, because when you're with someone who doesn't really get your illness, they're gonna push you to do things that you're not ready for, and then it puts you in that position where you feel like you have to do it even though you know you can't, and you end up pushing yourself and feeling sicker the next day. So what I'm trying to say is that I've been trying to like go to a movie once in a while with my boyfriend, or you know, my boyfriend and like another couple, and that's been really great. Recently my boyfriend actually moved right around the corner from me, so that has been like a godsend. It's been so awesome having him nearby. I'm actually driving myself to his apartment because it's literally 60 seconds from my house. So I'm not even really having to think too much when I'm driving because it's in my neighborhood. So that's a win. I feel like that little drive that I do kind of makes me feel like I have a little bit of that independence back, like how I used to drive to my boyfriend's house before I got sick. And like I kind of mentioned before, I'm able to walk around in some stores now, which I'm like so excited about, because I know this is like so weird, but I love going to Target and just like walking around. And where I'm from, there's not much to do here, so when you're bored, going to Target is a lot of fun. But once again, I can only do those things if I didn't do a bunch of stuff earlier on in the day. So it's all about pacing yourself and knowing when to rest. But I have been able to go to a few stores, which is so exciting. And more recently, I've tried to go shopping with my mom, and that is hard, you guys. I can only do like one store at a time. Like most normal people, they'll go shopping and spend a whole day shopping at the mall, go to multiple stores, go get lunch, go to a movie after, you know, you have this full blown out day. But for me, you know, I needed to get a few summer clothes. So we went to the H&M near my house, and oh my God, within like 15 minutes I was sweating. I was sweating like profusely, and I feel like I was running a fast-paced sprint inside of the store. It was crazy. So we were there for about a half hour, like actually shopping, and then trying on clothes in the dressing room was one of the most exhausting things I've done in a while. I kind of forgot how exhausting trying on clothes is, even if you are healthy. And after that, I was just done for. I had to come home, rest completely, and I couldn't do anything else the rest of the day. But I was proud of myself because I had accomplished a goal, and it kind of helped me mentally prepare for the next time I try to go shopping. So a few weeks later, I went to Forever 21 with my mom, and this time it was so much easier because I was able to pace myself, and I knew how long I could be on my feet shopping and grabbing clothes without feeling exhausted. So this time was a lot better. I was even able to go to my boyfriend's afterwards and hang out. So I think as time goes on, as I am recovering, I'm just really having to learn when to stop and when to just say no and sit back and rest and let my body recuperate, and to actually listen to my body once I'm feeling myself get over that, you know, like crossing the line when it comes to how I'm feeling with my symptoms. So with that being said, a lot of things are starting to fall into place, but I'm noticing that this is just gonna take some time. And I mean, it's already been 3.5 years, and I am just like 100% over this, but for whatever reason, God has me going through this still, and I know that there's a reason and a purpose for it, and I'm choosing to believe that wholeheartedly, because when you're in a situation like this, what else can you do other than have faith and hope that things will get better? So if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down in the comment box below, and I will try my best to get back to you. I'm not the best at responding to comments, but I promise I will get back to you. And I will also leave my Instagram name right here, and you guys can follow me on there. I mostly post makeup related things because that is mostly what my channel's about. But like I said, about once a month I do a video on health or wellness and things like that to encourage you guys who are going through chronic illness. Also too, if you guys would like to see a video on my chronic fatigue syndrome recovery routine, then give this video a thumbs up so I know. I've had a few requests for it. I'm still deciding if I should do it or not, but I know a lot of people are curious on what I do with my routine to recover. As I am getting well and doing more and more, I have to replace my activities that I do with my routine with other things, if that makes any sense, kind of like what I was talking about before. And yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. I want to connect with you guys and grow this channel. I'm also doing a giveaway at 1K subscribers, so be sure to subscribe. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for always supporting me and being there for me and all the love that you guys send. I'm sending love back your way. I hope you guys are having a great week, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.